Bonjour tout le monde. Je m'appelle Stefanie Yuen Thio. I'm a lawyer and a managing partner at TSMP Law Corporation. Most recently, I've set up a charity foundation. It is a women's empowerment organization, which I'm very proud to be working with a lot of people on.
I'm Chloé Vialard. I'm a French qualified lawyer, and I've been practicing in Singapore for the past 5.5 years, after spending 6 years practicing as a lawyer in Paris. I work in the field of international arbitration in the global law firm Sherman & Sterling, where I am a senior associate. Obviously, a passion for international arbitration and the opportunity that I've had to work for the past decade with an amazing and unique team globally. And even further than that, it's that real passion for law and what can you do with it. I truly believe that as a lawyer, we can use our legal analytical skills to push the agenda to support organizations that will themselves use their skills and be amplifiers in their strategic advocacy to push the needle forward, including on women's rights, girls' rights, and other causes.
I think what was really interesting was being able to help people, being able to craft solutions, meeting new people every day. Every person is different. The problems and transactions they bring are different every day. And also law has been a great platform for me to start doing other things. I do a lot of community service. I've served on a lot of boards of charity organizations in Singapore. Everywhere in the world, women are still lagging behind men because we have more duties in the home. And a lot of that comes from our gender mindsets. Also, there are specific areas where women are lagging behind men even more, such as in the online space, where because of anonymity and the speed of access, assaults against women, verbal assaults that have deep psychological impact can happen very easily. And the perpetrator just walks away and, because he's not known by anything other than his handle, he can walk away. And some internet platforms are less responsible about putting their names forward and about making their identities known. And so because of that, women really suffer a great deal more on the internet, as you know. So we set up a charity, me and a bunch of friends. We were doing some government-related work, some public-private partnerships with the government in the Sunlight Alliance for Action. And also the Singapore Women's Development White Paper came out 2 years ago, which noted that there are a lot of issues where women can get more assistance and support in Singapore, and where with the right societal change, we can really make it a gender equal place to work and to live and to be part of the community.
So we created this support center, which is called the Support Center for Women Victims of Violence among the French community in Singapore, in collaboration with the French Embassy in Singapore, the Paris Bar, and the Law Society of Singapore. And what we do is that we provide legal clinics twice a month in person to women who want to come to us confidentially in a safe space at the State's Court, which is not linked whatsoever to the French community. And we provide French law advice on any type of violence. And we also link them with a Singapore qualified lawyer that would be on call for every single legal clinic that we host that will address specific legal questions of Singapore law. And on top of that, and this is also where our two projects collide, we link them to any type of support in Singapore that can bring additional help. And we also have a psychological hotline, which is provided by the French Embassy, available 24/7 for free for the French community to call and have someone to speak to.
When I first started, I was told by my parents, don't be too assertive, don't be too aggressive, men won't like you, you won't get married. And I thought, I'm not trying to be assertive, I'm just being myself. And if I can't be that person and find a man, find a husband, which was a big deal back then, 40 years ago, so be it. I have to be true to who I am. But it's been a struggle being a female lawyer, and a lot of women in Singapore, with our Asian culture, obviously, we still have a lot more home duties. We look after the children primarily, we make sure that the house is running beautifully, we look after the elders, both sides of the family. I understand the French family experience can be a little bit different from that, although women are still the major caregivers in all those fields. it is harder for women, and also we didn't have good role models who were women. So we saw a lot of men who were very strong, and women that was our only role model. So it was hard to decide what kind of a woman leader you wanted to be. It was hard to decide whether you wanted to stay in the legal game and to climb to the top. It was hard to decide what kind of a female lawyer you were going to be in court. If you were too strong, people called you rude words. If you were too gentle or too feminine, people said you were using your femininity to get ahead. It's a very different world now, and I'm very glad that we operate in the world that it is today. Singapore is probably one of the most gender equal places to study and to work. But we still need to give women better support so that as they climb up the ladder, as they go through their various stages of their family and community life, they get the support that they need. And I think a lot of that has to do with changing gender mindsets. But I'm glad that we're starting to provide the support, and male allies are beginning to realize that they have a really integral role to help support and sponsor women. That's great.
This week, France has decided to enshrine the right for women's abortion into its constitution.
Gosh.
And
wow.
this is a key milestone.
Yes.